I've got a theory that the best Pokemon card investment is not necessarily booster boxes or Pokemon Center ETBs, but something else altogether. What's up, guys? My name is Riley, aka Pokemon Trader, and I've been buying, collecting, selling Pokemon cards for the past 11 years or so, since 2014. At least as an adult, I started in the 90s, like most of you. But if you're interested, you can go watch my awful video that I uploaded about 10 years ago now. It was of my first grading submission ever, back when you got 6 free vouchers from PSA when you joined their membership club. And one of those happened to be a first edition base set Zard that I ordered in near mint condition. Well, I don't know why I did that. It actually was in near mint condition. It came back a 7, but I ordered it off of Troll and Toad and submitted that. It's an awful video, but it's there if you want to see it. On to the topic at hand. So why would I think that there could be something better, a better investment than something like a booster box or Pokemon Center ETB? And it will actually make even more sense with the current market that we're in. So first off, let's define what I mean by good investment. I mean a solid product that is going to appreciate in value over time. That could be, really it could even be 1 month, but I more typically be 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, and beyond that. And beyond simply appreciating value, it's something that has a low risk potential. So something can have a high value potential, but also have a high risk potential. And we're obviously trying to mitigate that as much as we can. And so this is why people typically say booster boxes and Pokemon Center ETBs, because they have the best proven track record of any other product. I think booster bundles can be a really good option. Regular ETBs can be another good option, and especially cases of those are even better. But they just don't have quite the same value appreciation as the booster box or the Pokemon Center ETB. So of course, those are both good investments and very solid investments, but there's something that's better than that even, and it would be getting a good deal. So why does getting a good deal matter? Obviously, you could probably think of this yourself, but if you are overpaying, especially in this current market in June 2025, the crazy hype FOMO that we're seeing everywhere, people waiting since Monday to get into GameStop or whatever it is, you can easily overpay. Even GameStop is $200 a booster box right now, over MSRP, as we all know. But it's easy to overpay for items. It's easy to, even as a seasoned collector and investor like myself or anybody else, you can get wrapped up in the hype, in the FOMO, even when you think you're not, even when you think you're guarding against it. It's still possible that it's kind of leaking into your brain without you noticing. So of course, everybody wants a good deal. If I can get a booster box for half the price that I otherwise would, of course I'm going to take that, but it's not always that simple. Most of the time it comes in the form of a less desired product or a less desired set. And you can even make the argument for these, collection boxes that you see on the shelves in Walmart or Target or wherever it may be, Best Buy, that, like the Mabosstiff collection box that nobody wants. You can even make an argument for that given a certain price point, I would pick that up and it would be a solid investment simply because of the price. So it's obviously something that's pretty easy to say, oh, get a good deal. Yeah, of course, we're all trying to get a good deal. But especially in this market, it's easy to overpay, definitely in the short term, right? Of course, if I buy a booster box for $250, like Destined Rivals, paid $250 pre-order, is that a good deal? If you're going to lock it in a lockbox and leave it for 10 years, yeah, it's going to appreciate beyond that. But in the short term, in the 6 months to 2 years, the 2-year print cycle, it's probably going to be a bad deal. So the opportunity cost of investing in a $250 booster box when it's going to potentially drop, say it drops to MSRP 160, right? You've lost almost half of whatever it is, 40%. Of your investment. You could have taken that and invested in something else. Ugh. And of course, none of us have endless funds, so we're trying our best to do this intelligently, to invest the best way that we can, whether it's in the short term or the long term. And something that you should be aware of is how your products are going to do in the short term. Not that you are investing in them to flip them in 2 months or 6 months. but you should be ready to. An example of that is Surging Sparks. I got in pre-order $105 a box, and it was from Double Infinity Gaming. Shout out to them. They were awesome. I've ordered from them several times. They've never canceled my pre-order. I'm not really pre-ordering anymore because it's impossible to get, but I got 2 cases of Surging Sparks, and it instantly, within a few months, it hit basically $1,500 a case, and I sold both of them, and I no longer have any Surging Sparks. And you know what? I'm okay with that because I think the Pokemon Company is going to reprint them, and it was too good of a deal to pass up. Even though I only held them for maybe 2 months, a month for one of them, I sold super fast. So you should be ready to sell at any time if the margins are there, right? If you've doubled your money, then you should be ready to sell. Back to the notion that you're paying $250 a booster box when it's likely going to drop. What will it get to MSRP? Will it get to $110 a box? Maybe, probably not. I don't really see it hitting $110, $100 a box, at least not for the next 2 years for some of these really hype sets. But will it get under $200? I think so. I think we could easily see MSRP sometime in the next 2 years. When demand starts to wane, people get bored, right? They're in it for 6 to 12 months. They can't find any product, and then they just get bored and they sell what they have and they stop investing. And then that, coupled with the Pokemon Company printing massive as much as they possibly can, I think sometime within the next 2 years, we're going to see demand drop and therefore prices drop. So to challenge the norm of buy booster boxes, buy Pokemon Center ETBs. Of course, I still buy booster boxes. That's what I mainly look for. Pokemon Center ETBs, when I can grab them, of course, I'm going to pick them up. But I also have my eye out for the third category that nobody talks about, and it's the good deal category. It could be a simple collection box. It could be a regular ETB. It could be anything, because if you can get your price point down low enough, no matter what happens, you're going to make money. To give you an example, let me take you back all the way to November 2024. It was Black Friday was coming up, and they were selling all of the ETBs that had been stuck in distributors' warehouses for years that they couldn't sell. And so they sold off. I know Paldea Evolved was one of them, Paradox Rift, and maybe 1 or 2 other sets. I don't remember. But for sure, Paldea Evolved, I know because I got 13 ETBs at half MSRP. After tax, it ended up being about $25 a box. And I just knew at the time, nobody wanted Paldea Evolved. Now everybody wants it. So hindsight is 2020. Obviously, it makes sense. Of course you'd pick up Paldea Evolved. But at the time, nobody wanted it. Everybody only wanted Surging Sparks and 151 and maybe some other hype Sword and Shield sets like Evo Skies or something. Nobody wanted Paldea Evolved. And I knew if I can get this at $25 a box, there's no way for me to lose money. Nobody's picking them up for that price ever again. And as soon as I bought them, already I could have flipped them on the open market, on the secondary market, for double that price. So the good deal has threefold protection. You have a lower entry cost, faster returns, which we're all looking for in case you need to take your money out and put it somewhere else. And third, resilience to market dips, which we're all going to experience, especially over the next 2 years with this hype and the crazy bull market that we're in. There's going to be pullbacks and dips. There's going to be hype, FOMO, paranoia. People are going to back out. Anything can happen. So you have resilience to all of those. And if I have an ETB for $25, I don't care what happens. I'm never going to make less than that when I sell it. So to end this video, I'd like to talk about the now advice and the lasting advice. So the lasting advice being something, of course, that you can take throughout your entire Pokemon collecting, investing career, and what do we do with it right now? So the lasting advice is simple. Just keep your eyes out for good deals, for the sets that people aren't looking for. Like again, November 2024, nobody wanted Paldea Evolved, and you could get it half price. That's a deal that you just can't beat. You cannot pass that up. You have to take it, even if it's not a Pokemon Center ETB or a booster box. So keep your eye out for those deals. And the now advice is look where other people are not looking. Everybody's looking at Destined Rivals. Everybody's looking at Evolving Skies, Prismatic Evolutions, obviously, and even Surging Sparks. But what are people not looking at? Well, a couple products that I've noticed that people really aren't talking about as much would be enhanced booster box cases of Journey Together. It is the only set in the Scarlet and Violet era that has a box top or promo card, right? And it's not the enlarged cards that they used to include that nobody wanted. And you're like, what do I do with this? It won't fit in a binder. And you just like tossed it into a box. But it's an actual card that you can get graded. So that's huge. And another product that people aren't looking at as much, it's still Prismatic Evolutions, but it's the ETB case. And it has a lot of people worried right now because obviously they're reprinting Prismatic Evolutions, and especially the ETBs, since it's a specialty set, there are no booster boxes. But the case, where it's a higher price point, you can get a pretty good deal. I now have 4 cases of Prismatic Evolutions ETBs, and 2 I just got recently for $1,000 a piece. Now, again, they were products that people were, at the time, even just a few weeks ago, were more focused on the SPC and Destined Rivals. They were not looking at the Prismatic Evolution ETB cases. And of course, people still aren't looking at Journey Together. So those are your opportunities for getting a good deal in this market. So anyways, that's about it. If you guys liked what I had to say, give me a like, follow, subscribe, and I'll be posting more videos.